fire, yeah.
Tuesday, this is the morning show. If you are tuning in to find out whether or not I will be here, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I am. So I'm here until further notice. But you got me, you got JC, you got Strazza, we got Alfonso on the P's and Q's. We got Larry Pesavento today coming on to share a few charts. We got Mr. Kenny Glick. And do we have Sam Gatlin on the schedule today? Oh, no, today's Tuesday. If Sam wants to hop on, he can hop on. How about that? So, all right, let's get going. We got some stuff to discuss. Drop me a like if you can. Hope you all had a great weekend. And let's boogie.
All right, we back. Happy Memorial Day, y'all.
Yeah. I just had the best weekend.
Steve, why is your camera looks like
why are you all fuzzy?
You're coming at us from the 90s, man.
It look yeah, you're coming at that's a good call, Spencer. It looks like I'm drunk and kind of like Strazza's like blurry. You know
wait,
I mean?
No, now it's better. That's
now
weird.
we're back. I just need to start out. I want to give a shout out to the Fairfield Stags winning the MAC conference. Shout out Fairfield University winning the MAC conference, going down to Coastal Carolina, same regional as the Florida Gators, actually. So
that's awesome. Very cool.
We're talking baseball?
Yes.
Cool.
We are talking baseball. This is the NCAA tournament for baseball.
Very cool.
64 teams.
This is the team that JC Parets played on back in his heyday.
I just want to give a shout out to the current Fairfield baseball program. Just to be, this is true story. When I got there, when I was a senior in high school, before I went to Fairfield lost in the MAC championship game. They blew it. They were up like 6-4 and actually blew it. So they didn't win the MAC, but they were right there. And the ace on Fairfield's team was Dan Crines, who was MVP of the Cape League that summer. Right. Mm-hmm. So like that's a serious program. MVP of the Cape, right? Every year that I was there, we got worse. Right. So that's what happened. So we started like when I was in high school, Fairfield was good. And then every year we got worse. And now, I mean, they're getting kids drafted in the top 10. This is like their 5th MAC championship, upsetting Ryder yesterday to go to the NCAA tournament. So big shout out to Fairfield Stags. Fear the deer, baby. Fear the deer.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
University of Miami also making the regionals. They're in the Alabama. They're playing with Alabama.
And I believe Maryland, somebody else's alma mater, lost a big game this weekend.
That's kind of what we do in Maryland. We lose in the lacrosse championships every other year. So it is what it is.
The Cubans don't know anything about lacrosse.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's a Memorial Day tradition. Maryland losing in the championship game in lacrosse. Oh, well.
It's quite an honor to get that far and be that good. Did you ever go to the games when you were there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Lacrosse is a very big sport at Maryland.
Dude, Maryland, sure. Lacrosse?
Yeah,
dude. Like Maryland, Long Island, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I would have liked going to a lacrosse school because the games are fun. It's a fun
North Carolina's a big lacrosse place, right?
Yeah, they're good.
Yep.
They're great.
Mm-hmm. Not in Cuba. No lacrosse. Cubans don't even know what lacrosse is.
No. Why would they?
Shall we, Spencer? We got a lot to talk about, bro.
Yeah, sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Dow futures up 530 points. That's 1.27% to the upside. 42,200 for the Dow. S&P 500 futures up 80 points. That's 1.4% to the upside. 5,900 for the S&Ps. NASDAQ 100 leading the way higher. 1.5% to the upside. It's over 300 points for the NASDAQ 100. 21,290 for the NASDAQ. 30-year bond futures also up 0.2%, back above 112. Crude oil down almost a full percent at 61. Copper down 1%, 478. Gold down 2.25%, back under 3,300. Silver down almost 2%, 33 even, with the VIX still at 20. Believe it or not, over in funny money land, we got Bitcoin pushing 110,000 right now. 109,708 up 240. So kind of flat this morning. Big reversal on the overnight session. Ethereum up 3%, 26.45 for Ethereum. We have Solana. Solana up 1%, pushing 177 with the total crypto market cap. Mr. Spencer Israel, 3.4 trillion. 3.4 trillion. What stands out from this morning's futures?
What stands out is that we're higher. Why are we higher? Because slide 1, which I have shamelessly stolen from the internet. I saw it. I thought it was clever. And here it is now on our show. But yeah, we were down whatever day it was it Thursday last week because of the EU tariffs, and now actually not so fast on that. So can't keep it straight. Head is spinning. But that's what stands out to me is that we got the headline. What was it? Was it Sunday night? I don't even know what day it is anymore, but I think it was Sunday morning, maybe, with the temporary pause on these EU tariffs. So not surprised to see us trade higher here because that's what the headline was over the weekend was, less tariffs, more stocks.
Yeah, like I said, every time they say the word tariffs, we want to buy stocks, especially the Chinese ones. And so I'm
not all of them this morning. I don't know if you saw Pinduoduo.
Pinduoduo is based in Seattle, I'm pretty sure, right?
Oh, yeah, right. That's right. Yeah,
one of those.
Spencer, you sound like the New York Post.
Huh?
You sound like the New York Post.
In what way?
Can we talk about the New York Post for a second? I mean, come on, man. Here, throw up the new.
I do sometimes read the New York Post. I sometimes read the New York Post. I find their headlines to be pretty clever.
Throw up the new slide too, please, if you will, my good man. Hold on. Get this. Ready? U.S. stocks fell out of the top 40. Top 40. They're literally just making things up. What is the top 40? I've been at this over 22 years officially. Not once have I ever heard of the top 40.
Wait, is that the same? Is that the same Ken Fisher as the commercials?
Didn't he get canceled for being like sexist or something? I thought that guy got canceled. No.
Kind of, sort of. I don't know.
All
but
right.
anyway, I don't know
top 40. What is that?
Are you unfamiliar with the Billboard Top 40, JC?
That one I know.
Okay.
That one I got. But what is the worldwide top 40? What is that one? That one.
I mean,
U.S. stocks have fallen out of the top 40 with investors worldwide. By the way, just fun fact. According to this top 40, the United States didn't make it. Qatar and Malaysia did make the top 40. The United States did not. This new.
I got to move to Qatar.
JC,
I knew it.
JC, all they're doing here is ranking countries by returns, though. Like, I get what you're saying.
That's what that is?
Yes.
So it's year-to-date returns, and the U.S. is number 41?
So. Yeah, I assume so. Like, we do this all the time, maybe with less of a sexy headline, but we're talking about the U.S. being one of the worst performing countries constantly. All right. I'm just saying.
Of all the New York Post headlines, I would have expected you to get hung up on. Not this one. I wouldn't have picked that.
But Strazza, can you tell me what you think stands out most from this morning's futures, other than the fact that they got back everything they gave up Thursday and Friday of last week and then some? What stands out?
Really nothing. Rates continuing lower, I think, would be the big one. That would really be the big one for me.
So bonds up this morning. That's good for stocks, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. I mean, we talked about that last week, right? And we have this move index. If you want to throw it up, I dropped it in the chat this weekend. All I did is overlay the move index, invert it, and then overlay it with ARC, right? Just to show you. And the correlation there has been intensely positive all year. So bonds got to stay cool here, I think, for risk assets to keep working. It's really as simple as that. So that little scoop and score that we talked about on the show last week, I don't know if we have those charts, Alfonso, right? But we talked about TLT's not going to be breaking down here. Their stocks are going to dig in and bounce. And that's exactly what we saw. You got a really nice scoop, a little bit of follow through. Let's see if we get more, but it looks like we are just by the way interest rates look here this morning.
New slide 2, please, there, Mr. Spencer Israel. This one pointing out to exactly what Strazza is saying. Lower rates would be good for speculative growth. So really bonds need to stop crashing here. So for blue line to go up, black line needs to stop going down. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's even less about like you're overlaying TLT here. Let me try to get. Can we throw up the move index, please? Chart again. Second time dropping it in. Here we go. Let's try this. It's about bond market volatility even more than the direction of interest rates, right? They just got to stay cool. Can't have that volatility.
So it's the bond volatility. It's the volatility itself more so than the direction, right?
Uncanny relationship. You can't argue with it, right? All year. It's a great chart.
Can we throw up slide 5 there, please, Mr. Spencer Israel? This was a good one to wake up to this morning. Consumers are just they think that unemployment's going to go up. These are people who watch too much basic cable television. These are people who listen to economists. Man, they're scaring the hell out of these people, and I like it. I like it a lot. I am not responsible for the behavior of others. It is none of my business what other people do with their money. This is a very selfish endeavor. I'm only worried about this guy right here, numero uno. This guy, this guy loves to see people scared to death.
This is so good. This is the stuff that they like send you in like sell side research reports. So just to be clear, what the University of Michigan is doing here, they're polling normal people about their expectations for a funky economic data point. Is that correct? They're polling everyday people.
These are normies. These are not degens. These are normies.
About where they think the unemployment rate is going to go?
Yeah, these are civilians.
Do you think they ask them about where they think GDP will be next year too?
I don't know if they ask them that, but they do ask them the stock market, right?
Here.
I think they ask them the GDP thing
ask
too.
Ask the normal person what the unemployment rate is. Why don't you start there? And then also maybe the people that can answer that, ask them where it's going.
Although
this is like, come on,
Steve. It's also a known phenomenon that economists are notoriously bad at predicting this information. So normies aren't any worse, really. How much worse could they be?
But do you get what I'm saying? They probably don't even know what the unemployment rate is.
I don't.
Right. So you shouldn't be answering that question either.
Right. Well, I didn't. Nobody asked.
Just assume it's 4%, and then you'll be close.
Yeah, nobody asked me. I'm just happy that everybody's so angry.
Who? People are having a blast out here. I got to tell you too. There's no recession in South Florida. I don't know about Miami, JC, but man,
I don't know about you're in Miami more than me, bro.
They're having fun out there in Naples. No recession.
Let me tell you something. We're having fun out here. I was at a pool party. It was a bull market pool party. This buffalo chicken dip, whoo-wee, off the charts, man. This buffalo chicken dip. I was eating the whole damn thing. It was a bull market. It was a bull market in my neighborhood this weekend. That's for sure.
Man,
wait. Question about this survey and this data. Is there any is there any seasonality to this? Because generally speaking, when it's summertime, people are outside more. They're in better moods. I would think maybe their expectations for the economy would be a little higher because they're happier because it's warm out.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. It's not a seasonal thing. These are just some angry bastards.
Okay, that's what.
Isn't that why they take out the farms, guys?
I kind of want to buy a farm. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to buy a farm. I want a farm so bad, dude.
I always liked the idea, but Meb got rid of his farm. That makes me think,
Well, I lease a farm in Napa, right, for the wine, right?
Not really.
So I lease that, but I want to own a farm in Pennsylvania.
You're not leasing a farm though. That's a different business. You're buying grapes.
Yeah, but my crew does the farming too.
But like if you had a farm, you could do grapes and olives and maybe little cows, maybe some pigs, right? Don't forget the pork.
Hey, that's what I hear. They ain't making more land, are they?
You're not raising pigs on the valley floor of Napa. That's just a waste.
You're making bacon and juice.
No, not if you have valley floor fruit in Napa. You plant those vines, damn it. Dude, it's like 2 million acre, man. You pigs? No,
I don't know. Bro. You could raise some Wagyus.
No. I got one. I got a good one here. Can we throw up slide 6, the new slide 6 and 7 here? This is the Reddit disaster, which I'm thrilled to see. As somebody who's not a shareholder, as somebody who thought this was stupid, as somebody who thought that people changing their business models because of Reddit's market capitalization, I couldn't be more thrilled to see this stock get the crap kicked out of it. I'm just, couldn't have happened to worse people, this Reddit. I mean, who uses that shit? Seriously. I can't even.
So should we talk about it?
I just like that it's getting
Wow, I don't think I knew that you felt this way about this
Oh,
company.
he hates it. Yeah, he hates it. I got to tell. First of all, I'm using Reddit more and more. Using Reddit more and
By the
more.
way,
and
for
more.
the record, if it turns,
More
I'm
and more.
buying it. So, full disclosure.
I think it's a lovely platform. Funky. It's a little bit. It takes some getting used to, right? Some big weird on there. Some big weird going on
Spencer's
Reddit.
into it. Spencer's one of those guys that goes to Disney with no kids. He
Hold on.
likes Reddit.
Well, it's
Doesn't
funny.
matter.
I was thinking about this actually a couple days ago because
Yeah.
I don't go on Twitter as much. I go on Twitter for probably like 5 minutes a day. I don't. None of the Twitter replacements do it for me. I really only go on Reddit. That's my, and I guess like YouTube. That's my like social media now. Is YouTube and Reddit.
Listen, you're on Pinterest.
I did have to make an account for a college class. That was a long 12 years ago, but no, I'm not on Pinterest.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like Pinterest.
That's cool.
I do, because like if you're doing like a new backyard, which I am, it's cool. If you want to get like some ideas for like a man cave.
Yeah. No, it's great for decorating. Pinterest is dope. Can I talk
they
about?
say
the
like, oh, it's only for women.
Yeah,
You know
go,
what? I'm
Steve.
into
Go
it.
ahead. Go ahead.
What's that?
Come on, guys. I'm having something's happening.
What is that?
Strazza, you okay?
You all right?
Okay.
Man, I hope he's all right. It sounded like an alarm was going off.
Yeah. Also, there's somebody in our studio here backstage named Billy Ray Valentine, and I don't know who it is.
That is Larry Pesavento.
That is Larry. I wasn't sure.
Is Larry.
Okay.
So guys, we are in for quite the treat with Larry Pesavento. I am super stoked. I want to we'll get to him in a second though.
Yeah.
Hang
yeah,
out
all right.
there, Larry. Sit tight. Go to the next one because I think this is interesting. Social media off the lows. Trump media absolutely ripping off the lows. Outpacing everything, even your beloved Pinterest, Spencer.
Well, it's up 10% today. Yeah. So
and 54% off the lows last month.
Yeah.
This is Donald Trump's quote unquote social media company, whatever you want to call it. But man, this thing is ripping.
If you zoom out, it's getting quiet. It's quieter and quieter. Like this thing used to make much bigger moves than it's doing right now.
I know.
So
and people hate it, right? Because they don't like the orange man. So
Well,
me.
I think they hate it probably because they don't like. It's not a real business yet. They don't like.
Right. Company loses money. The orange man and the Elon and oh my God and tariffs and the world's coming to an end, even though it's a bull market. Right. All that stuff.
Right.
So this plays right.
Like all the companies that are on this list below DJT actually have revenue, right? They make money.
So in case anybody's wondering, why we ignore fundamentals altogether, well, here's Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Fundamentals. Get out of here, dude. Who's going to waste their time with that shit?
I don't know, man. If you spot that Spotify, it looks unbelievable to me.
Yeah, it does.
Right.
The Spotify of China looks even better, by the way.
That's the
10-cent music.
That's TME, right?
Yeah, 10-cent music. And then the other one here, throw up the news slide too there, Spencer. This one is the Tesla of China making new all-time highs. This is very impressive. Throw up the new one.
I'm seeing a lot of chatter about the BYD.
I mean, this thing new all-time highs. This thing is an absolute beast. Someone said they're making more cars in Europe than Tesla or something like that.
It's getting cracked in the head this morning. But other than that,
look at that thing.
Yeah.
New all-time highs for the BYDDY. So, the question is Tesla not going to do that?
Yeah. So the headline was that BYD outsold Tesla in Europe for the first time, right? That was the headline over the weekend. BYD's down this morning. What is down? It's down like $10 this morning, but it's barely traded. So maybe hold the phone on that. Steve says his power is getting back up. Okay. No, but I'm just seeing a lot of speaking. Like, I get my sentiment right on things now. From a lot of it from Reddit. I'm just seeing a lot of. I mean, all of the stock market finance subreddits, right, and a lot of posts about BYD. A
Really?
lot of posts. Oh yeah.
And then what is the difference between a Reddit and a subreddit?
Reddit is the platform. Subreddit is an individual community within Reddit, right? So it's the same. You can call it the same thing. So the stock market subreddit, for example.
I want to get the lingo right.
Yeah. Okay. So then, if you want to really get it right, you would call it a sub or a subreddit. You don't. No one cares though.
Yeah, I want to make sure that we're down with the lingo. You know.
Okay. So yeah, I'm on all the stock market subs, and Builder Dreams is all over it. All right, the Warlock is in the house.
Bring him out. Bring him out.
Should we bring him out,
please.
All right.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come from my club, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola. Yeah.
Kenny Glick in the house.
Good morning. How are you? Whoa,
What's up, my man?
got a bit of feedback here. Hold on a second. What's shaking? How are you?
Oh, just very excited that my Fairfield Stags won the MAC. Now dancing in the NCAA tournament. And then we got the University of Miami, where I grew up, also in the NCAA tournament. So having a nice little weekend here in the Parets household. How about yourself, sir?
What sport are we talking about?
Thank you.
Baseball?
Oh, okay.
Pastime?
Oh, all right.
Yeah, that's right.
What sport are we talking about?
You guys are good players down there, man.
You don't play baseball in New Jersey?
Not anymore. Not since my kid. He used to be my kid when he was really small, and we got him into like right after T-ball. He could actually throw straight and fast. It was pretty awesome, right? Every dad thinks your kid's going to be a pro player.
My dad did.
And he's throwing it past people. He was actually a closer for a while when they had 4 pitches any game. But and then as the kids got bigger, my kid never really got that big, but he was able to throw straight and fast. But then the kids started smashing the ball, and it was a moment I was like, well, I guess this ain't working out. And you could see the look on my kid's face when the ball started sailing over his head, and I was like, you know what, it's over. I wasn't one of those delusional fathers, but
listen, it happens. I got back-to-back home runs hit off me at UConn. You know, one of them was a pretty good pitch, low and away, and he poked it out. The other one was a hanging curveball. I deserved that one. That one still hasn't landed.
And you remember that moment, right? You remember that moment.
It's still going. This guy hit the dead center. This thing went like 400. Man, what are you gonna do? All right, Kenny, we got the Dow up almost 500 this morning.
Yeah.
We got NASDAQ ripping up 300. If the way I learned it, correct me if I'm wrong, is that if you ain't fading, you ain't trading.
That's right. Except for Ryan Reynolds. Let's keep talking about Canada's sweetheart, Ryan Reynolds. The IPO has been paying us, MNTN. But let's talk about fading for a second. So I don't know if you guys are fans of the Snoopy cartoons. Lucy, she would keep pulling the ball from Charlie Brown. Like, nobody likes Lucy. That's kind of like Trump right now. I mean, who this guy's just messing around now. I think this last one was like, let's just see if we could do it again. Look, tariffs on a Friday at the close. Okay, no tariffs. Oh, look, it worked again. Now it's getting to be silly. So
only the best tariffs. I walk in, I said, these are the best tariffs.
Right. And if you like being manipulated, then I guess this is for you. But who rooted for Lucy? I rooted for Charlie Brown kicking that football every time. But it's kind of getting annoying. But historically speaking, this is a very bullish week, as I remember back in my youth. I remember this being a bullish week. We'd come in after the holiday weekend, we'd gap up today, we'd sit around, and we'd stay bullish all week, and then we'd start getting ready for the summer.
So gap and go.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna look for a fade, but I've been having a lot of fun on the mountain stock MNTN. This is Ryan Reynolds, has something to do with this company. So far, so good. We got paid the first day, we got paid the second day, and a little pullback to 25 would be awesome again on MNTN. Big fan so far. The action has been phenomenal. And CoreWeave and Mountain. Those are the only two stocks I traded on Friday, and fantastic. CRWV. We got CRWV. Yeah, we got to the 120 pre-market, had some sellers, but this thing does not want to go away. So very, very good action. Very good.
Yeah, Spencer, if you could throw up the new slide 2 there. This is what Kenny's talking about here. So this is the CoreWeave.
Sorry, MTM is in Vail Resort. That MTN?
No, Mountain MNTN. It's IPO came out
MNTN. Okay,
Thursday.
Thursday.
I was like, what are you doing? Vail Resorts. All right.
Yeah, but this stock CoreWeave has been phenomenal. Buying dips, selling rips. Now that it got to 120, a lot of the easy money's over on the long, but awesome action every day. I mean, this market's been phenomenal. I mean, if you're not paying attention, I mean, there's so much to do, so you just got to pick your spots lately. And I've been picking CoreWeave and Mountain the last 2 days, and the Qs, of course.
I mean, this thing, look at that base, right since the IPO, consolidating, breakout, consolidating right to that level. You start getting above that 115, that sucker's off to the races.
Yeah, any consolidation, you actually have a good level right there, 83 and change, that 83, 85 area. Consolidation above there, even between that, just like Palantir, when it ripped to 120, then you finally had that correction. You went sub 80 for the little faux show roll because of the Trump candle. But yeah, once you get to the 120, any consolidation above 80 is actually good. 80 and 120. Next thing you know, this thing's looking at 150 to 180. So very big fan of whatever they do. Not too sure yet.
Software. It's software from New Jersey.
Sure. Okay. Cool.
Are they?
Software from New Jersey. What could go wrong?
Hey, speaking of software, data analytics, my son's in town. SRAD making its way up there, huh? I bet you bought a little bit as soon as you left my office that day.
See what you did there, Kenny. See what you did there. That went right over Spencer's head.
Whoop.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't even listening. I was trying to read about
Didn't even
CoreWeave.
catch that. Right over his head.
Wait, say it again. Sorry. What?
Nothing. You were just paper.
You were in diapers, bro.
No, I was reading about CoreWeave being from New Jersey, which I didn't know.
No, SRAD. SRAD, only $1 away from all-time highs, kids.
Okay,
let's go.
Sorry.
It's a dog sport.
At least you were right on that. All right. Sometimes we're a little bit foggy in the morning after a holiday weekend.
Dude, I used to listen to Fly Me to the Moon every morning on my way to work.
Oh, fantastic.
That's how hardcore I was.
And then you went deeper with some Talking Heads because Dave Byrne, he pretty much did the soundtrack for number 1 and number 2.
Oh, there you go. No, yeah, number 2 was, there were people, no names need to be mentioned. There were people paying to be in that movie. That's
I thought it was kind of fun. I watched it the second time around. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it was.
Yeah, but the first one was such a classic.
Yeah, of course.
They're hating on Wildwood, New Jersey. Just some things change. Some things just always stay the same. Wildwood, New Jersey, getting a lot of hate. What a terrible place that is.
Right. Hey, listen, for some other stocks,
those are some grimy people down there, man.
The nuclear stocks were really in play. That was a really, that gap down on a Friday in a bull market, it was just comical. Also, if anybody was really thinking about selling on Friday, but the nuclear stocks, it was a good one. OKLO, very nice. NNE, and of course the quantum stocks still is just ripping. Absolute great action, especially on a Friday with options expiration. We were looking at Rigatoni, RGTI, and even the little guys. The little guys are outshining the big one. No. So QBTS, QUBT, it's a bonanza of just great opportunity right now.
Spencer, new slide 2 there, just real quick before we get to Larry. Kenny just brought up the D wave there, QBTS. Look at the base, dude.
Big fan.
Look at that base, man. That is some chart. Listen, I give myself credit sometimes where credit is due. That's a great chart. Come on.
Listen, and the relative strength in those stocks when the market was kind of shaky was, we were talking about it. So now that the market's ripping again, why not rip these stocks to all-time highs?
Yeah, no doubt. Look at that base, man. All right, Kenny, give me one more. What's on the move this morning?
I'm going to look at PDD getting smacked. I'm not a big not a big fan of the Chinese stocks, but this thing's about to make a turn. You got the foe, you got the show, and you're about to break the VWAP right now, as a matter of fact. PDD, I don't want to chase right here, but if I have to, I might have to. But, give me 95. Give me 95 again sometime today, because 95 to 97.50 would have been my play. I wasn't really paying attention, but any stock that's getting hammered, I'm a fan. So you got your little foe, you got your show, and you're about to break over VWAP. So this stock could easily be ripping right back to 100 any second. So be careful.
I still think it's a zero.
Zero.
All right. Guys, hitthebid.com. Kenny is there live trading every day, and actually is running a where's the link for the Memorial Day offer? I'll get that in there as well. If you join Kenny's room before, I want to say Thursday of this week, 25% off. I'll make sure.
Hurry up. And then I'm taking the week off, going golfing with my son in Bermuda, taking the family. Should be fun.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. By the way, no joke. I'm not joking about this SRAD. Loving it. I've been buying it every week, a little bit here, a little bit there. It's basically the one stock I own now, the most of. Really interesting company, and it's a fairly new stock. Talk about a base. This thing based out for about a year and now is about to flirt with all-time highs. So very interesting setup and a really interesting space of stocks. And if you like sports gambling, data analytics, this company powers the live betting, which I know you love. All right.
All right.
Boo.
See you again.
See ya.
Glick. Adios. Hit him straight. Kenny Glick playing golf in Bermuda, the reinsurance capital of the world. Bermuda.
Is that true?
Yep.
Is that like just where they're all headquartered, or
there's like they got some hustle there, some tax hustle there. Like they're all there. Like like insurance in general, but like reinsurance in particular. Like they just dominate. So there's some kind of hustle going on there. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. I heard it's like expensive and bougie. Like I can get down with that kind of thing.
I've never been either, but I haven't gotten that impression. It's so close to America. It's like east of South Carolina.
Dude, these insurance companies and reinsurers print money. Have you seen these stocks? Marsh McLennan, Aon, Willis. Like, have you seen any of those stocks? There's like line going.
Not recently.
Dude, there's a reason why Warren Buffett owns a ton of reinsurance. There's a reason why Stephen Cohen has a ton of reinsurance. They just get these math nerds from Connecticut and call them I think they're called actuaries, and they just stick them in a room and just have them do math, and they just print money. Great business. Like, I know nothing about fundamentals, but I know they print money, and I like that.
All right. We got Larry Pesavento, aka Billy Ray Valentine, hanging out backstage. Larry, if you can turn your camera on though, because I can't see you. I hope your camera will work. If not, then we'll just have to do audio only. But oh, there he is. All right, cool. Should we bring him out?
Yes.
Let's do that.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Looking good, Billy Ray.
Uh-oh. Larry, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Come on, Larry. First timer?
Well, kind of gamble, you know.
We had that. We were so good with the looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good. Oh, no love.
Check the settings here. It's possible we may have to go backstage and work it out, but check the settings gear real fast.
Throw up slide 10. Throw up slide 10 there for me, please, Spencer.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay, now I bet.
There he is.
There we go.
Yeah, well, I'm a little slow on the technical pickup here.
You got it.
Yeah, well, been doing it. I'm still trying to figure out what Windows is, but it's still tough for me. So what can I help you guys with today?
Larry Pesavento, ladies and gentlemen, a living legend here before us.
No. I'm just an old person. Living legend, not so much.
83 years young, is that right?
5.
85.
Yeah.
Damn, homie.
You look good, man.
Been doing this 62 years, Bubba.
62 years. Holy shit, Larry.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm hoping for a profitable year this year, but so far I'm about even, so we'll see.
What was the best year you ever had?
The best year I ever had was the worst year I ever had. When I lost all my money in 1974, I took a 1.2 million down to minus 2,800. That was my best trade ever, because at that point I realized I didn't know anything, and then I began to study, and that's what turned me around. But my best trade was that trade in retrospect, because I realized
1974. Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I started trading in 62. So I've been trading 12 years by then. And I started with 30 and I ran it up to 1.2 and then minus 2,800. And then a couple of years later, I got it back. And then I worked for Drexel for 6 years in Beverly Hills. And so that got me moving pretty good. So now I just sat here in Tucson, Arizona and buy a little here, buy a little there. That's all I do.
Is that where you are in Tucson?
Yeah.
Oh, we
We
got to
have
hook
home
you
in
up
Hong
with our
Kong,
boy.
too.
We got to hook you up with our boy Riley. Riley, I saw Riley in the chat. How far is Sedona from Tucson?
A couple hours, about 4 hours. No, 3 hours. It's about 3 hours.
You should hook up with our boy Riley. He's out there. You guys would get along great.
It's a
Larry,
beautiful
let me tell
place.
you
It's a beautiful
something.
place. Yep.
We've had this YouTube channel for a while. When we do videos, you and me, those are some of the most watched videos we've ever done ever. You know that?
No, didn't know that.
People are into you. You're
People
kind of a
have
big deal.
Yeah. Thanks for the compliment, but I really I don't do anything near like I used to. I used to speak to thousands of people every year, but like Larry Williams and I are good friends, and we basically don't get into the public too much anymore. But I enjoyed it. I met a lot of nice people and helped a lot of people along the way, and that's been my thing that I do, and have a lot of fun doing it. I'm lucky.
James Bartolone loves you.
Jim's Jim's going to be on my guest on Thursday. Yeah, Jim, I met him many years ago. In fact, I trained all 4 of the Top Gun pilots in his group.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're all trading too, so that's a good sign.
So, Bart always talks about how he never took a finance course in his life, right? He's like an engineering mind, all math. And
Sure.
I've never once ever in all of our conversations over the years ever heard you talk about the fundamentals of anything at all. It's really just math based. Can you tell the folks, listen to this, because you're he's a humble guy, but he's really a living legend. Larry, can you tell the folks like how you approach the markets, how you think about, things?
Well, I don't look at any fundamentals. I don't watch the news. I mean, I see how the market reacts to the news, but I just look at the charts. I've proven to myself that the buying and selling is the sum total of the charts. If prices are going up, there's more buyers. If prices are going down, there's more sellers. That's really all you have to learn to do. And what you have to do is find a place where you can take a reasonable risk. And it's not about how much money you can make, it's about how much money you can lose. And so when you put a trade on, you have to look at it and what is my loss going to be if I'm wrong? And that's how I approach everything. I've been doing that for very, very long time, and it's served me well, and other people that do the same thing. And Jim's just one of them. There's others out there that do the same thing that Jim does. And sometimes they come up with opposite, opinions, but it's all a risk that you have to take. If you think about how much you're going to lose, not how much you're going to make, and you're going to be far better off.
Whenever we talk about things, we're talking about planets and cycles and moons.
I don't.
And when you tell some folks about that stuff, sometimes they look at you like you're crazy. I'm not saying you specifically, me, anybody.
And they're probably right.
Well, how do you think about cycles like that? Like,
well,
and how did you get into that in the first place?
Well, I know that the cycles, astrology is nothing more than a calendar. People get, confused when they see numbers like Capricorns and, Virgos and stuff like that, but it's all related to numbers. Started that way back in, thousands of years ago. And all I did was I was very skeptical about the astrology stuff. In 1986, one of my teachers, Dr. Ruth Miller from Indiana, called me and said, I can show you how Fibonacci relates to these planets. And so I went down to Florida and I stayed with her 6 weeks. And she proved to me that, by gosh, it's there. It's not 100%, but boy, when it's there, you have to pay really close attention to it because it's totally awesome. And that's what really got me started at it. I don't use much of it anymore. I do it on big time frames, but not on the smaller time frames. I rely on ABCD patterns and Fibonacci numbers and other numbers of sacred geometry to determine where the market should be based on the math. And if you don't think these markets are related to math, all you have to do is see where they stop each day, because these guys on the quants on Wall Street, they know these numbers backwards and forwards, and they have these huge computers that, can trigger huge buying at these spots that, totally unbelievable. And that's why you've got to be prepared to be exit your trade if you're wrong, because you can't stand in front of these guys. For instance, Sunday night, the S&P opens unchanged and rallies 80 points without a downtick. I mean, that
And
kind
you
of
don't
stuff.
think that's based on fundamentals, huh, Larry?
The fundamentals of BS. I can prove that over and over again.
Yes, the market is, the market doesn't need you to prove it. The market continues to do
Yes.
exactly that, right?
That's correct.
Fundamentals.
They absolutely
Imagine
do.
wasting your time on that crap. Larry, you've seen a cycle or two in your day, right?
Yeah.
Started trading in the 60s, blew up in 74, made it back. And the rest, as they say, is history. What are you seeing in the market? Like, how do you think about the current environment? Where do you think we are in the cycle?
In the cycle, I think we started the second Great Depression, and I believe we're starting down probably today. And we'll see if I'm wrong. The market will go above 59.40 in the S&P. Then I'm totally wrong. But if we close lower today, I think we're going to see a pretty substantial start move to the downside. The things that are happening.
Great Depression, Larry. You don't think that's a little aggressive?
It could be, but then you asked my opinion, so I gave it to you. It's the same
Fair,
cost,
fair.
either yes or no, 2 cents. You got your deal.
Fair.
There's a lot of numbers. Everything I do is based on numbers. The whole thing is based on what numbers are, and the numbers they're just screaming at you. This is not. And we saw the bottom on April 7th. That was a big, easy bottom, and then we had
What
this
was so
big
easy
run
about
up.
that bottom?
Oh, it had every single cycle and A, B, C, D and Fibonacci number that you could possibly get right there on April the 7th on everything. I mean, emerging markets, Hong Kong, China, everything. It was all just lined up perfectly on April the 7th.
And then so what's 59.40 on the S&P 500? I take it is what you're describing. Here we are right now, basically 5,900 even.
That's my total risk. We basically shorted it, I think 59.06, and we risk 30 points on that. So 59.40 would be the absolute. Get above that, then something's wrong, and I move on to the next one. But we've been short gold here.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Larry. If the S&P 500 is above 59.40, then it's not the next Great Depression.
No, it just means that it's extended out a little bit. I don't. There's a chart that I have that I've shown for a long time that said that the market was going to top on November the 27th last year, and it's been perfect. It is perfect mathematically. It's not been violated. The last rallies were had with 78% retracements of the previous move. No new highs were made in any of the indices, including the New York Stock Exchange Index, which I look at because it's the broadest measure of all stocks. So those are just the things that pop out at me from the very beginning to make it look like it's. Can I show a chart, and I'll show you what I mean by that?
Spencer, can you help him out?
Yeah, I think you have to hit that little chart thing, don't I?
Yeah, if you share your screen there's that little button
that
you can do that.
Okay, now I shared the screen, but can you see it yet or not?
You share the screen. You have to select the screen. You might have to click OK or something to that regard.
Not now. Unable to share the screen.
Yeah, you can also, if you want, just email it to me and I can bring it up.
Oh boy, that would be a toughie. No? Well, I'm not that good, but
okay.
Wait a minute, I can do that if you want. I think it's that important. It's the best chart I've ever seen.
Yeah, send it over.
Send it over.
Listen, Larry.
This was done by one of my students. Well, he's a dear friend now, but because he knows so much more than I do. But he's over in London, and okay, I got it right here. Now, where is the email that I send it to? Hold on a second.
You can reply to my email from you. Actually, I think I emailed you this morning.
Hold on. You can. Well, that I don't. Just give it to me again, please, and I'll.
All right, here I'll. You can do the morning show.
Morning show?
Yep. At stockmarketmedia.com.
Okay, wait.
And for those of you listening out there, morning show at stockmarketmedia.com. Send Spencer as many emails as possible. Tell him how much you love.
Hold it. Morning show. Give it to me again. That morning show.
It's the morning show.
Oh, the morning show.
The morning show. Yep.
Oh, boy. See, when you get me to do stuff like this, it's really.
No, but if it's that important, we'll do it. We will stop.
I think it is. Okay, the morning show, and then
at
what?
Stock market.
At. No, really, I don't. I can't even type. Why? I don't even know why I'm in this business with these computers.
It's all good.
Stockmarket.com.
Stock Market Media. Stock
Why
market
don't you add a
memes.
few more words to it? It'd be like the whole
You're
alphabet.
telling me, brother.
.com. Okay, I
That's
hope
it.
this will go through. If not, and I'm going to
We shall see.
the chart. I'll put XX or something. All right, now I'm going to paste it in here. Most of the people won't understand what it is, but
That's
maybe
good.
it'll help.
We like that.
Okay, all right, get it up here. Okay, see if you get it now. And uh-oh, what happened? Did I lose you guys?
No, you're here. You're
No,
good.
we're good.
And then
All
Larry,
right.
while Spencer brings that
Yeah.
up, why do you always start your shows with looking good, Billy Ray?
Feeling well, it's Trading Places. I've seen that movie 60 times. You know, that's really what it's all about. One of my very, very dear friends and I saw it together first time in '83. We were members of the Merc, and we went to the north side of Chicago to go to the movies. We sat through it 3 times to see it. Later on, when the auction came up, when they were selling the stuff, it was filmed in the Wells Fargo office in Philadelphia, and there was an auction for the desk and a whole bunch of other memorabilia from the show. And so he went to buy the partner's desk where, the Billy Ray found the drugs, for
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd. Yeah. Well, he bought that
I got
partner's desk, and he always wanted it. And there was other
How much did it cost him?
$6,000. It was a
That's
very
not
rare
bad.
desk. No,
That's
not
not
very
bad.
bad. Yeah, the watches that you remember when he was, it was Bo Diddley was the guy in the pawn shop, that he sold the gun
Yeah.
to. And those watches that Dan Aykroyd was selling was really cool. And Jay bought those for all of his friends just to have it, and it was a lot of fun.
Nerdy traders.
Oh yeah. He was one of the greatest. Okay, this is a chart that goes back a very long time. Anyway,
Walk
you
me
can
through what's
see,
going on here.
okay, now you can see the ABCD pattern that I deal with, correct?
Yes. So why don't you
Okay.
explain the ABC pattern to the folks who might not be familiar?
Oh dear, this is totally amazing. It's the most amazing pattern of all. But AB equals CD is just a thunderbolt pattern. If you read anything about fractal analysis from Mandelbrot, that's what he talks about. He calls it the secret seed, and the secret seed is nothing more than AB. He called it lightning bolt because it does look like a lightning bolt. Gartley, who talked about it in 1937, he called it the ABCD pattern, and that's was the and that book was $1,200 back in $1,500 back in 1937. That's where I got all my information from. But this gentleman has taken it mathematically to the nth degree, and you can see it's perfect mathematical from November the 27th, and that was the high of the New York Stock Exchange Index that day. The Dow Jones and the S&P and the NASDAQ all made higher highs within 5 to 6 weeks of that. Not much higher, but within 5 or 6 weeks. But the actual New York Stock Exchange Index topped on that day, November 27th, and we've been down ever since. We had that big break into April the 7th, which was perfectly symmetrical. It's just as exactly duplicate of what happened in 3 years ago at 4 years ago in 2022 because of the COVID thing. It was exactly the same thing. And then we had the strong rally here. And now that rally should be dissipating and we should start down again. The stuff that's going on in Washington, that's just cannon fodder. Anybody who believes any of that stuff, they don't deserve to be trading because that's, tariffs one day, non-tariffs the other day. Tariffs are the most dangerous thing you can do. The whole second Great Depression started because of tariffs. Are you aware of that?
I wasn't around, Larry, so you'll have to fill me in.
You weren't? That was only 1929, 1932. It was no big
Was
deal.
it depressing?
Oh, yeah. Well, they went down. Stocks went from 383 in the Dow on September the 3rd. And then 3 years later, 1932, the Dow was trading at 42, from 383 to 42. That's all we had was the Dow Jones. There was no S&P. Of course, NASDAQs didn't come out till 73, and the S&Ps weren't out until 49 or 50, 1949 or 50. So it was basically just the Dow Jones. But now we have stocks all over the world. We got ETFs. I mean, we've got so many things out there that are very, very dangerous, including Bitcoin. I don't know what that is, but if there was anything that could really be dangerous, that is really dangerous.
So you think Bitcoin is dangerous?
Well, I'm scared to death of it, and I'm
Why?
fearless. Oh, anything that can be done on a computer can be shut off in a heartbeat, and that's You can't
And
hold the Bitcoin.
what if it's an infinite amount of computers, not just one?
Well, then maybe it goes up. I've never traded it, JC. I've not done anything with it at all. I chart it, I watch it go up and down, but I've never bought or sold anything in a Bitcoin. And I get along without it. So, but that's something there that I'm just I'm an old person. I'm worried about how much you can lose. And on a click of a switch, you could if they turn the computers off, or somebody cuts off that big thing in the Atlantic Ocean that brings all that data back and forth, yeah, that's not going to be good. But I'm not involved with that, so I don't really care about it.
Larry, when you talk about like DC, don't listen to anything that's going on there. I know a lot of people, newcomers to this market, think that what's happening in DC, like this is kind of something new. Can you tell us, like, over the years, over the decades, like, is it just a bunch of noise from DC always? Is this like
Always,
par for the course?
The master of it was Alan Greenspan. People don't realize this, but when Greenspan was chairman of the Fed, of course, he was there during the crash, and his best friend was Robert Rubin. They had breakfast every morning in Washington. And the worst thing that Greenspan, I've got a little bit of an allergy, so if I sneeze, I'll try to get off the phone. But in 95, right during market hours, Greenspan dropped interest rates 0.5%. And there was a gap. This was the S&P was trading at $500 a point, not $50 a point. The S&P gapped, I think, 40 or 50 handles. The average range was about 8 handles. And it bankrupted so many people at the Merc. I mean, there were more seats for sale the following day than ever, even before the crash. And so it was really, really quite bad. And he played the market like a fiddle. Of course, he's still playing at 99. So anyway, they play those games. Anybody that doesn't think they don't play them, they have the Federal Reserve. People don't realize the Federal Reserve is not a government institution. It's on Pennsylvania Avenue. It's a private bank for bankers. Read the book, The Secrets of the Temple, and what was the other one? Secrets of Jekyll Island. That'll explain to you how the Fed works. They have 200 traders, everywhere. So that's the main thing that you're looking at.
Larry, you've been around for a year or two, cycle or two.
Yep.
You got a lot of young traders, a lot of people, maybe you've only seen 1, 2, 3 cycles, maybe. Someone who has seen as many as yourself, what kind of advice would you give to even someone like me, and even younger?
Well, I can tell people exactly, find something that you like to do, and you never have to work a day in your life. That's what I've been doing. I mean, I've never signed the back of a check. I've been working for myself forever, and it's, works for me. I found something that works for me, and it's consistent. Don't work every day, but it works most of the days. And but that's really what it is. Find something that you like to do, and that's it. I spent a lot of time to get to where I am. I have a library of a couple thousand books and stuff. I've spent a fortune looking at some of these things over the years, but little by little, I started picking up stuff that worked pretty good, and that's really what I'm looking at.
No,
you're very helpful.
Advice.
You're very helpful to all the people out there. But there's no one single thing. If you have a desire to do this, you will be able to do it. But if you do want to do it, just don't give up. You might fail a few times to get started, but eventually, if you stick with it, you'll stop making mistakes, and you'll be in good shape. I recommend reading Mark Douglas's book, or one of the books by his wife Paula, Trading in the Zone, or some of those others that talk about the mental part of trading, because that's 85% of what the trading is mentally be prepared, what you're supposed to be doing, and that type of stuff. And then you're ready to, act. And you have to have some type of a strategy that you believe in. Once you have that belief system, the rest of it's real easy. You just have to say, how much do I have to risk to see if I'm right or wrong, figuring you're going to be right about 60% of the time, break even about 20% of the time, you're going to lose another 20% of the time, and just keep doing it.
So it sounds to me, Larry, that you have to make mistakes. Like, in my experience, if you don't, the longer it takes for you to blow up, the longer it takes for you to start learning how this works.
That's exactly right. Yeah. No, look at golfers. Tiger Woods tore the place up for 15 years, and now he can't even make par on a course with the windmill. But then you got these
low blow,
guys
low
coming
blow
up
there, Larry.
Well, no, I liked his. He's done a lot for golf, But
you go out, you play.
Yeah, I'm a par golfer. The hole I have trouble with is the one with the windmill because I can't get my electric cart up on it. So I always bogey the one with the windmill. I've never played golf. I think I played one round in my whole life, and I said this is not for me. So my only vice is I do play tournament poker. I play Texas Hold'em in tournaments and stuff. So.
Oh, do you? Do you travel for that, or is it just local stuff?
Well, we have local, and then I sometimes go to Vegas and play in some of none of the big stuff. But I've never won any, but I've been in the money a couple times, and that's been good. And so I enjoy playing it. So it has a lot to do with mathematics. So that's one of the reasons why I like it so much.
No doubt, no doubt. I appreciate it. Listen, a lot of investors, a lot of market guys, appreciate the poker, right? So
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Similar mentality. You're playing, you're kind of playing the people, kind of gauging the sentiment, right? A lot of similarities.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Pesavento is the man. Regardless of what he says, he is the man. Larry, where can people find you?
Here in Tucson, Arizona, you go to larry@tradingtutor.com, and I'll send you a copy of my latest newsletter. You can take a look at that. Our big trade for this week was to sell gold on Friday, and that's working really good today. So that was all based on patterns, no news or anything like that. And so that's pretty much what we're looking at. Today started off with a good day, but you never know how it ends up.
Larry Pesavento, looking good, Billy Ray.
Feeling good, Lewis.
Hey,
listen, JC, thanks for inviting me. I really appreciate it. You do a great job for people, so keep it up.
Appreciate you, Larry. Always.
Right.
Thank you so much for everything over the years.
Okay, pal. See you later.
Adios.
Thanks, fellas. Bye-bye.
Larry Pesavento. I don't know if you guys realize, Larry's the man, dude.
That was fantastic. I'll tell you the last time we had Larry on. It's been, like most people, it's been too long, right? So we had Larry on it was actually in April of last year. So it's over a year. So that was wonderful. I enjoyed every second of that conversation. That was great. I did not realize you say he's 85?
85 years old.
Damn, he looks really good for 85.
It's the math, always in the market. Dude's playing poker. When you keep thinking and stuff like that, it keeps you young.
That's right.
He's not wasting his time on a golf course. You hear that, Strazza? You hear that?
I think the trick is just to find a way to occupy your mind, right? If you do that, everything else will take care of itself.
Dude, he's like the mentor of some of my mentors,
Yeah. And that nugget about how he trained all of Bartolone's fighter pilot friends.
Yeah, these are all guys, these are all Top Gun fighter pilots, and they never took a finance course in their lives, and they're just, they're engineering types. And there's a lot of great technicians out there that are pilots. Jeff DeGraff, David Keller.
Because from what little I know about flying, it's a lot of if then, right? If this happens, do that. If the
checklists.
Checklist. Thank you. Right. Yeah.
Checklist. You got to follow the rules or you're dead.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's right. All right. So there's a parallel there.
Maps, charts,
data. True.
Yep. There's a lot of that.
All right.
I'm not going to fly a plane.
No.
There's zero chance that I'm going to fly a plane with my family in it. No. No.
I would never pack my own parachute. I'll let someone else pack my own chute for me. I don't trust myself if I would ever go skydiving.
Dude, I was on a PJ not too long ago, and I literally walk in, and the guy's like, "Listen, don't worry, because if the engine shuts off, we're just gonna pull this lever, and a parachute pops up, and we just float down." I'm like, "Are you serious right now? Really? That's the first thing you tell me when I walk into the plane, that if it shuts down, don't worry, we're just gonna pull the parachute?"
Yeah.
It was one of those where there's no stewardess. The dude just turns around. He's like, "All right, you ready?" I'm like,
it's gonna be a bumpy ride,
dude. Man, I'm scared of that stuff. I'm not.
Yeah. All right. What's going on today? We got Chart Request Live, which is normally Mondays at noon. We're doing it today at noon. So send us your requests, questions at stockmarketmedia.com. Jeff Mackey is going live at 1 o'clock. I'll join him. We'll talk about some retail earnings for the week. A lot going on in retail land. We are firmly in the heart of the retail earnings season. We have this week we have Nvidia. That's not retail, but we got Costco is this week. That's the big one. There's a bunch more. I'm forgetting what they are now, but there's a lot of earnings coming up. So that'll be at 1 o'clock. And that's it. We'll be back tomorrow morning with Jim Denholm at 9 o'clock right here on the morning show. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, everyone in the chat. We appreciate you watching on YouTube, watching on Twitter. Thank you for watching. Steve had a power surge apparently, but he'll be back. I guess his power is back now. I don't know. That was very bizarre. So hope he's back tomorrow. We'll see you there. Drop us a like. Memorial Day sale. I'm dropping all those links in the chat. If you join All-Star Charts Premium, All-Star Charts Gold Rush, hit the bid or breakout multiplier before Thursday, you can get 25% off. Let's make sure those links are all in there. Slide 1, JC. What's on slide 1?
Before we run, I wanted to give one more shout out to the Fairfield Stags winning the MAC, going to the NCAA tournament. Shout out Fairfield Stags. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Woo.
That's it. All right. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Go make some money. YOLO responsibly.
Adios.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then I